Well, that was clearly a horrendous golf swing and a horrendous result. And the reason that was so bad is, look at that, path was nearly double figures out to the right and my tack angle was actually just over 1 degree up on the golf ball. The reason that was so bad is because my main focus there was to turn in the backswing. In this video, I'm going to explain why that's the worst thing you can do. Do not turn in the backswing. I'm going to show you what you need to do instead. This little orange device here is going to represent my body and your body when we play golf. So you can see that this looks just like me as a golfer. You can see we've got a little bit of knee bend here and we've got a little bit of kind of bend from the hips. So bend from the knees, bend from the hips. So if I was to take my posture, which is kind of there, turn it around to face you, let's get it all straightened out. Watch what happens if I took my starting position and I rotated and I turned away from the golf ball. Look what happens. Okay, which way did my hips go? They went towards the target. And then look at this upper body angle tilted way over to the right. And you can see me over here doing those movements. And you can see it just looked really strange. My hips are going towards the target, my head's moving off the ball, my chest is down. And what that means is that my arms don't have any height at all. So we either get this really low arm swing or you're forced to then try to lift your arms up to the top of the backswing. It's going to get you into a whole world of trouble and you're likely to hit shots like we did at the start. So if your focus and your thought is to turn in the backswing, it's giving you all sorts of issues. I'm going to show you what you need to do instead. So to create a perfect backswing without turning, we need to understand how we blend 3 movements. I'm going to show you really simply in this video how to do that. I've got a great drill coming up for you later. But let's go through what those 3 movements are. Take a golf club. You can do this with me. I'd love you to. Stand up. Golf club across your shoulders. These are the 3 movements that you need to blend. We have got rotation. I'm sure we all are appreciative that that is in our golf swing, have some rotation. We also have bends or tilts, whichever you want to call those. And the other one we have is sort of this movement here, which is kind of bending forward and kind of arching back. A good backswing blends all of those movements. The golf swing that I made at the start simply had one of those moves, which was the turn. So when we start in this posture and we turn, we get that sort of horrible movement where, say, the hips go towards the target, head moves, chest stays down. Really difficult to play golf from there. So the first thing I'd love you to do is kind of understand how we get to that perfect top of the backswing position. If I did make that really terrible movement, which is just turn, what do I need to add in to get my pretty good top of the backswing position? Well, I need to add in some extension or some standing up, and I need to add in some tilt over to the side. Once I add those 2 things in, now we start to get something that looks a little bit more like the top of the backswing. So to get that perfect top of the backswing, I had to use all of those 3 movements. And if your backswing doesn't look right, if you've videoed it and you see your head move, or you see there's a sway, or it doesn't look right, or it feels uncomfortable, it's almost certainly because you're not blending those 3 movements. Now the drills I've got coming up are really simple. I'm going to make it so easy for you to do. The first thing I'd love you to do is understand and feel where you should be at the top, and then we're going to show you how to get there. So I want you to take your setup, stand upright. Okay, and just put the club sort of in this position here. You can see I'm just sort of holding it in front of my head. What we're going to do from here, where we're in a nice tall posture, is we're just going to add in some turn. Okay, so I'm just going to rotate my shoulders. So I'm turning through sort of 90 degrees, give or take. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip my lead shoulder down towards the golf ball. That's where my body needs to be. Then I can sort of put my arms into the top. But just look how easy that was for me to get into that perfect top of the backswing position. So this drill, you could use this drill to basically teach yourself where that perfect position is. Standing nice and tall, I'm turning through 90 degrees, and I'm tilting over towards the golf ball. And look at what my legs have had to do to help me achieve that. This leg has lost a little bit of flex. This leg has increased in flex. My hips have turned on an angle. They facilitate the right thing above. Now look how different this looks. Turn and tilt compared to this movement where we just turned. Okay, how do we get from there to perfect? We take out that forward bend and we add in the tilt over to the left. So there's no reason why you can't start and hit shots from there. It's incredibly difficult, and I'd probably advise you to do it at the driving range, but guess what? You're going to be hitting shots from a top of the backswing position, which is probably closer to what you want. So I'm not going to hit this anywhere near at full speed. I've got 8 iron. Hopefully I'm going to avoid that water. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to stand up. I'm going to take all of that forward bend out. I'm going to add in my rotation, I'm going to add in my tilt. I'm going to put my hands at the top. There's the backswing, and then I can just go ahead and clip it. And look how easy it was for me to hit a good shot. I think it stopped short of the water. But it felt really easy. Why? Because I primed my backswing. I got myself into a quote-unquote perfect top of the backswing position, which made my downswing easier. That's the key in this video. If your backswing is like this, and then you lift your arms, you are making your downswing incredibly hard. It's my job to make the golf swing easier for you. This is how you make it easier. Now I've got another little drill here, which is going to help you kind of move from setup to this perfect top of the backswing position. And we're going to use the buggy to show you. Find yourself a wall or a buggy screen. I'll obviously do this because I'm on the course. I'm using what's around me, but you can use a wall, a door, anything like that. And I want you to stand about this far away. So I'm going to put the palm on the buggy screen. I want my arm to be very, very slightly bent, and then I can sort of build my sort of golf stance from there so you can see where I am relative to the wall. Then what I'm going to do, palms face the ground, I'm going to go into my setup. Now watch what happens if I make that poor move, if I just turn. If I turn, I put my hands on the bonnet or the front of the buggy. I don't want that. Watch what happens if I make the right movement. So I'm going to turn, tilt and extend, all those three movements that we mentioned. Well, what happens then is we feel like we can put both palms onto the buggy screen, but more importantly, not reach it. That's the key. I don't want to reach that buggy screen. If I reach that, that suggests that I'm searching for that, I'm leaning. So I'm trying to make this movement where I'm turning, tilting and extending. My palms face the buggy screen, or in your case the wall, but I'm not reaching it. You'll also notice that this hand is higher than this hand. That's key because I've got tilt through my shoulders. So feel the difference. We do not want this one, hands on the bonnet. We don't want this one where we're reaching for it. We want this nice movement where we've got hands against the screen, trail hand is higher, but I'm not reaching the buggy screen. That's going to train you into the right movement. And the beauty with that, no club. So it enables you to really focus on what you're trying to do, which is the body movement, so key. So the next stage is to actually get you to hit shots, making sure you're doing the right thing. Now I've used one of these, I carry these in my golf bag for coaching. They're just great. They can be moved and molded into different shapes. So you can see what I've done. I've created a sort of situation, or I've put it around the golf ball in such a way that when I take my setup, I can see the golf ball right through that hole that I've created. That's my setup. But what it's going to do now is it's going to give me some instant feedback on the movement that I'm making. If I go back to that movement we discussed right at the start, where my sole focus is to turn, I see that that golf ball has moved. It's no longer in that circle. That's why that golf swing gives me these kind of way inside paths. It gives me those low points that are way before the ball. So if I can, from setup, blend some turn, some tilt and some standing up, what I'm able to do is keep that golf ball perfectly in that circle. So yes, I'm thinking about what I'm trying to do as the golfer. I'm trying to make those movements and blend them together, and I've got feedback. That's so important. And because this is pretty soft, I can hit a golf ball this way. But it means that when I hit a golf ball, I can sort of ask myself, okay, Chris, how well did I do? I know what I was trying to do. I know what the feedback was that I was looking for. Did I get that? Now I'm going to hit a shot. You'll be able to tell me how well I did. And it's hard to kind of not think about that big orange thing around the golf ball, but I'm not really thinking of that. I'm just using it as feedback. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a rehearsal. Turn, tilt and extend. That's my backswing. Let's go ahead and hit one. And if I hit it hard enough, which I don't know if I did, oh, just about made it. Just about made it. So it landed on the front of the green, and my numbers, way better. My attack angle was down, my path was closer to zero.